Good evening, everybody. I am Paddy Power. This is WREXtra time, and you are watching the local pundit. The match has ended. We scraped a last-minute point from our boy Rathbone, who came on late, and Lewis O'Brien. What to say about Lewis O'Brien? The whole match wasn't his fault, but goddamn, get a shot on target, my man. Seriously, driving me absolutely crazy tonight. So that was a mixed bag, wasn't it? So lost earlier in the week, now a draw today, fight back from behind for a 2-2. So the heart was there, the spirit was willing, but the body was a little weak. Again, what can we do? We have some players missing. We are doing our best with what we have. We got to talk about this tonight, people. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Positives, negatives, everything is in there tonight. So let me throw the link out there and let you join. So if anybody doesn't know what we do here on the WREXtra time, basically I am the follow-up show or the follow-up act to Josh, who did the watch along. And now we get to talk to you about your opinions. I'm on shows during the week. You should know me by now and what I think. And if you don't, that's fine. Come in and we will have a chat about it. So I just put the StreamYard link up there. Click the link, join in the background, and I will bring you in shortly. So let's say hi to everybody while we wait for our first guest tonight. In the chat tonight, Bruce McFarlane. I respect all the deadly sins, but right now I am tending to favor Rathbone. Not quite sure that sentence works, or at least maybe I'm missing the gist of it, but yeah, big up for Rathbone tonight. Andrew C. I love Wrexham, but this team is wearing me out. Come in and talk about it, buddy. I don't think you've been on the show before. Habsification is there doing quotes and comments in the chat. Steve Cooper. We need a supercharged replacement for Moore. Let the guy sub at 60 minutes and have some fun. Well, if we find a replacement for our boy Moore, I would prefer that replacement is better than Moore and that Moore can come on for the final 30 minutes. That might be interesting. But we shall see what happens in January. I do think we have bigger problems to worry about in January than maybe replacing Moore, actually. Matt White could have been better, could have been worse. Very unlucky on that first goal. Yeah, the first goal was a dodgy one. But we had enough on the pitch. We had enough in our play to win that match today. I am a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Straight up. And Nicodemus, a point is a point, but it should have been 3, which is basically what I was just saying. Yep. It should have been 3 today. We should have been able to pull that one out. We gave them a lot of the ball at different times. I know it ebbs and flows. You can't have it all the time going your own way. However, look, it's one we should have took home. We will maybe regret this match tonight later. Let's see what happens. Now, just in who regrets things, I can't wait to talk to our old pal John Merrill on my our Champ Chat show on Monday night UK time, because Birmingham 1-1 with Charlton. John is not going to be happy with that one. Okay, Habs, I do see you in the background. I'll just finish up with a couple of comments here and I'll bring you in. Okay. Seems Lewis O'Brien still isn't a goal scorer, but now we got Ollie back. That is absolutely a talking point tonight. We're going to talk about O'Brien and we're going to talk about Ollie and see what people think. Habs' first comment I'm going to put up here. At least we're still 14th. Yeah, I was talking on the pre-show with Aaron that the relegation zone is starting to slide further and further back, even though we are around 14th. We're looking reasonably comfortable that we're not going to be in any sort of serious relegation concerns / battle. But on the other hand, going up, we're only 6 points away from the playoffs. Now, we within reasonable distance, preferably in January. We want to convince maybe a few players to come and join us and think that it is possible for us to hit playoffs. So 6 points, I think, is where I would like to be. I would like to be inside the 6 point mark because there's a lot of teams ahead of us, there's a lot of traffic, and it will take time. It'll take 4 or 5 matches of solid, consistent results to push our way up towards that playoff area. So it's not going to happen like that if things start to click. Matt White, 6 off the playoffs, not insurmountable. Okay. Easy Randy, much better passing and control of the ball to give us opportunities. Yep, fair play. I'm going to drop in the chat again. The chat is chatting tonight. So I'm going to bring you in now, Habs, because there's too many chats, and then we'll try and get through them as well. And if comments come up, we'll get you in too. So Habs, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, how are you doing?
Okay, happy, sad, in between. First response, first idea.
In between.
I think that's fair. Before we dive into, I'm going to try and drive through some more of these chats here because lots of chats in. I'd like to get near the end of them. O'Brien is using poor technique when shooting. Watch the Windass first goal. Perfect technique with knee up and toe down. Okay, we will be discussing O'Brien and maybe his techniques. Chris, player movement and passing looked better with the effort part too. And Parky subbed a whole lot freaking better. My only disappointment is Moore. I'm so over the big guy. Okay, we can talk about that. I'm going to mark that as well. And I'll put the Moore one there as well for later, just to make sure we've covered it. Okay, Paul Kelly, why do we need a 6'5" striker? Because a 6'5" striker can jump and get his head on the ball quite regularly. He has scored plenty of goals for us, guys. Let's not forget. So, pros and cons with a big striker. Look, I can understand people being over it. So, yeah, we'll talk about it. Chris is saying hamster is back. Hamster time, baby. Hamster style. There we go. Chris is on Lewis O'Brien's back. Ricky Quillman, if just a little creative play, we would score more. Too predictable and easy to defend. Oh, here's one. Here comes the fire from Dave Pikey. Ollie won't miss the chances Lewis O'Brien does.
That's one thing I said last time on here as well. Lewis O'Brien is the one, maybe the one who can miss, because everyone says Ollie Rathbone and Lewis is the same, but Rathbone is the only one that can score from that.
Yeah, Ollie won't get us those chances, but that's a talking point for later. Okay. It's not just about the points, it's the teams ahead of us that is the issue. Okay, I'm going to start this as a question. I'll go back to the comments without digging too deep into this one, but it wasn't on my mind to discuss this. Are you worried about the teams ahead of us on that charge up to playoffs? I'm not in the slightest.
No, I'm not worried at all about this. They're gonna. I mean, who we got next? We got Swansea next, so it ain't gonna be too much of an issue. Then didn't they lose today as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. So they seem to be going down some kind of doom spiral. So we should be able to beat them. But again, this is Wrexham. We could Rex it up.
You're reading this different than I was. I thought you meant the teams ahead of us on the table.
On the table? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how I read it. So I'm not worried about the teams between us and playoffs. You know, of course they're going to win points too, and it's going to take us 5-6 matches to build up points and slowly get up towards playoffs. But I'm not worried about the teams. I think we can beat anybody. We're losing to some of the worst teams, but we're also beating a lot of the good teams. Was kind of my take. I see you, Esteban. I'll bring you in shortly. 2 minutes.
I mean, it is going to take us at least, if we can ride our luck and get it right, we can do it in about 3 games, maybe 2, but it depends on how things go for us. But
you're not going to pick up 6 points on like 7 or 8 different teams in 2 matches. Never going to happen.
Oh, I know, but a boy can dream.
Okay. Right. Fair enough. Okay, nearly there. There's only a couple of comments here, and I'll bring you in. Matt, again, Windass is this season's Fletcher. Skilled with a deft scoring touch and slightly past his prime. Yeah, he's past his prime, but he's still up there with skill. Yeah, I agree with that. That's fine. We got to do what we got to do. Can't worry about the teams ahead of us. No. We take our chances. We're going to move up that at that leaderboard, and we can take our chances against anyone. O'Brien shoots like he has no confidence at all, almost like he's trying to miss the net. I'm going to make one comment on this because we will discuss O'Brien. If he shoots, I think he also misses out on shooting opportunities. He does not have confidence in his shooting at all. He's in a position, hit the bloody ball, get it on target, maybe get a ricochet or something. Like, I did not enjoy O'Brien today. Chris, the hamster saved us, lost another loss, and after a decent performance would have hurt so much more. Yeah, draw is better than a loss. Agree with Habs. You only need 3-match win streak, and we are right back in it. Right back in it, yes. We can be close with a couple of matches, but to get up there is going to take a bit more. Right, Esteban, come on in. How are you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good.
Yep.
Holy freaking Rathbone, baby!
I knew that's what you were coming in for.
That's all I gotta say today. Cause come on, my two drum beats the entire season. Ollie Rathbone. Been waiting for Ollie Rathbone to get on the pitch, and Hardy and Smith. I still think they need to be on the pitch at the same time. But you know what? I'll take Hardy. Let Ollie Rathbone shake it up. Let Ollie Rathbone and Ryan Hardy out there, and see what happens. What do we have to lose at this point? You know, let those two guys like hook up with one another. LOB needs to sit for a little while. I hate to say it. He can't finish.
Okay, so who are you putting on if you're putting on Rathbone then? Who are you taking off? Lewis O'Brien?
Lewis O'Brien.
And you're also putting Hardy on?
Yes.
For who?
More. Put Broadhead out there. Put Broadhead out there and
Hardy.
And Rathbone and Hardy. Yeah.
Okay. Never gonna happen, but interesting.
I know, but that's the way they had it this afternoon, and it was working. Okay. It was working in the second half.
Right, let's keep going with Rathbone, seeing as you're here. Let's talk about Rathbone and do most of that. So
hamster style, baby, hamster style.
Came on very late, scored that goal. Now, fantastic shot on it. He took it down off his chest as the ball was in the air. He struck it, hit the ground, and into the corner of the net. Like, how well was that shot taken, considering he hasn't been on the pitch?
Beautiful. A thing of beauty. The thing that Rathbone brings is just a sheer enthusiasm, and there's a childlike glee to his play. When you can see it. Everyone else is very serious about their play. Not him. He comes out there and he plays like a kid. He plays like he's having fun. And I love that about him. I've always gotten that energy off of him. So, I don't know. Just there's something just beautifully poetic and childlike that I can connect to there. Maybe because I'm a teacher and I love enthusiasm like that when I see it. You know, even after the game, you know, he's out there like smiling, patting the opposition in the back, you know, telling him good job. You know, he's out there just having fun. I love that about him. So there you go. That's my take. That's my take today.
I'm just checking something here. That's correct. Okay.
What happened?
2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds. I'm going to show you. Share screen. Okay, here we go. Right. Oliver Rathbone. 1 goal, 1 match, 1 minute.
That's fantastic.
That's a crazy stat, that is.
Because obviously they're not counting the extra time. They must only count the 90 minutes in their stats.
I agree so much with what Brian Chang just said. Moore is really overrated. He's just another all apartment. Crude strategy that must evolve into something better. I agree with that 100%. I
Are
think
you
that
reading
they
our
had.
chats again?
I think I did read the chat a little bit ago.
Okay,
but
we're talking about it with Rathbone here.
oh,
Let's
sorry,
focus.
no, in to that comment, right?
What comment?
I think
didn't put up a comment.
I think Ollie Rathbone needs to start. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a few people saying like, "Hey, he needs to start. He needs to start." Yes, I think I agree that he needs to start. Maybe they need to manage his minutes. I get that, all of that, right? He's been hurt, but here's the thing: is that the last couple of matches, the last like 2 or 3 matches, I've noticed that they are swarming more. They have figured out our play, and like it's the same old thing that Parky likes to do, and like it's time to shake it up. It's time to shake up the offense, and we got to do something different. And if Rathbone is coming out there and being hungry like he is, you know, and bringing that kind of enthusiasm, that's going to be infectious. That's going to take the team to a different level. And then he brings something to the team where the guys out there start playing like they're having fun. I don't think in the last 2-3 games they've been having like they're playing like they're having fun, you know. And right now at this point in the season, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that childlike glee that Rathbone brings, and I'm so glad that it's happening right around Christmas time. So,
Okay, so I have a few connected questions here, and both of you can answer this for me. First of all, were you happy for Thompson to be off and Lewis O'Brien starting tonight? Habs? Yes, no.
So I didn't hear that. So if I could go over again.
Go ahead, Habs.
Okay, the question is, before we started tonight, looking at the lineups, were you happy for Thompson to be off and for Lewis O'Brien to be back in the starting lineup?
Yeah, I was more than happy for that.
Okay, Esteban?
I was kind of agnostic to be honest. I have liked both of them at times. Okay. I think that O'Brien brings a certain quality to his attack, but he can't finish. Whereas Thomason offers more of that defensive capabilities. So I was kind of agnostic. You know, okay. It is what it is.
I was happy with the change. I think Lewis O'Brien does bring in a lot of attacking momentum. And I think you could see that again tonight. We still had attacking momentum. He got into difficult positions, but damn, he cannot finish.
Right.
Okay. So
I think Rathbone brings that same kind of energy.
Multiple questions. I'm bringing it up right now, Esteban.
Okay.
Right. So do you think it's a simple straight swap? Bring in Rathbone, take Lewis O'Brien out, and give him a shot.
I think so.
Is he the best of both worlds?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
No.
Okay.
You don't think so, Habs? Why not?
Habs go first.
To just simply switch them out, they may be similar, but they're not the same, and they function completely differently as players for what they do. They're very different in the way they operate. Rathbone, he's got a lovely shot, but he operates in that box-to-box style midfield. Whilst it'll be the same in terms of what Lewis O'Brien does, O'Brien gets into dangerous spaces. He does. He occupies spaces, and he allows freedom of movement to be able to create chances in terms of getting turnovers, getting passes. Rathbone's a bit different. He does create those kinds of passes, but he also it's a little bit different. They offer a very different kind of passing game it does, and different positioning type of game. And they may seem similar, but they're not exactly the same.
Okay. Would you want to play him? And if
Rathbone?
yes, where? Rathbone, yeah.
It would be a similar position, but it would depend on what our setup is. We would need something for him. If we're going to have him on, we need to be extremely aggressive. Our press needs to be extremely aggressive. The second half was an entire exercise in seeing us press harder than we would have, because they knew we were just chasing at that point.
Here's a question. Could O'Brien and Rathbone be on the pitch at the same time? Could they link up with one another? Is that something that could happen?
They could.
Put him on instead of Dobson.
That could work.
Oh, yeah. I think Dobson needs the rest.
Dave said it here. He thinks bench Dobson and play Lewis, O'Brien and Ollie.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, because it does give Dobson some rest, because he has been basically ran ragged at this point. I mean, Matty James has been saying he's got a swollen knee. We could probably switch him out for that as well.
Ooh, that'd be an interesting one. But wouldn't you be
Yeah.
swapping James for Sheaf?
What was that?
You'd be swapping James for Sheaf, though, really, wouldn't you?
Yes, but we do still need. We have to have. We do need. I get that, but we still need some kind of aggression as well, because we're not. We're falling back into old habits of. What was it?
Okay, am I wrong here? Are you thinking we could do Rathbone and Dobson in the back?
We could, or we could do James. The reason I say those two, either one of them, is because we need someone. Because I think we got Ollie Rathbone to come on for. Who did we get him on for?
That was for Dobson, I think.
Yeah, there may have been.
We were going more attacking, so that's kind of natural to be pulling off.
Yeah, the reason why I would say that is we need someone on to be able to press harder. That's the thing. We need a strong midfield press, because we can't rely on our wings. That's the reason why. We need to push the game further forward into the other end of the box and put the pressure on. That way, our wing backs can function a bit more like wingers. They could at that point, and get crosses in or go deeper into the box. But we're kind of just stuck in this, because what we'd end up doing is, if we stuck with the same kind of game as we did with Hull, we're just going to shell up and just take the abuse. That's the reason why we need to come further forward. And we saw what was happening even in the first half. That habit was coming in. We were just falling further and further back. And there were just moments where we were trying to push forward. And I think Parky must have said something to him in the half time, to just try and push the game forward. And it was kind of what we could see was happening. We were pushing further forward, but we just needed the type of players to be able to put that press on them and to get those things. But the biggest problem is our passing game. That's the biggest problem. We don't have a proper passing game in the same way.
Yeah, there were some gorgeous passes today, but as an entire unit, the passing wasn't great in the forward direction. Passing as usual.
The thing is, our passing is generally great when we're around either Sheaf or James, and then we'd have the combination of either. It is usually around the middle of the pitch. It's usually around the back end or to the middle of the pitch, around that area on our side. But it just doesn't go further forward. Our passing tends to be kind of stagnated when going further forward. Our centre forwards and our attacking mids, they don't have that kind of passing game or ball carrying game for that. That's why we struggle.
Yeah, and it is why we struggle. That's very fair. But I think our passing game is very clear, works much, much better when we have our wingers, which we don't have. So there's not much we can do about it. But Matt White has a comment here I want to bring up because he corrected us. Ollie came on for Hyam today, and I just checked it, which is correct. So we were going full attack kitchen sink when he came on today at the end. So
we tore the sink out the kitchen and just threw it at the goal.
You threw it at the next. Yeah.
Listen, I was really enjoying the last 15 minutes of the game when they threw the attack onto the pitch. And yeah, O'Brien was out there, Brathwaite was out there, right? And Hardy was out there at the same time. I think that could get really creative if they give it a little more time. Like, come on, develop that. The crosses to more are it's a tired game, and other teams have figured it out, and they're capitalizing on that. Other teams are really, really capitalizing on having figured out our attack, and we're not getting any results for that. Okay. So let's shake it up. Let's see what happens.
Okay. So. A couple of questions here from the chat, just kind of quick ones before we move on to the next topic. Maddie James probably isn't a starter anymore. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I disagree with that too.
Right, but would you play him before Sheaf?
Depends on the game.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I think. Listen, when we started the season, I looked at the team. I thought that Parkey was looking at the team as if he was like a teacher, where he would like have different combinations, and it started off that way, and then for a few games, they've settled into the same 11, and then I think it's starting to get back to like, okay, let's move people around for the different games, and I really, really like to see that, because I think that I agree. I really have just said I think different teams need different lineups.
Okay, so that's fair enough. Right. Next one then is this one. Dobson is the worst passer on the team.
I think Dobson just needs a rest. I think Dobson's been overworked. I don't think he's that bad a passer. I think I've seen him do great passing at times, and I've seen him do really tired hospital balls other times, especially in the later parts of the game.
Okay. I would say like on the TV show Chernobyl, not great, but not terrible.
Interestingly, with Dobson, he bugs the crap out of me with his passing sometimes, but it's not because he's necessarily a bad passer. I think it's because he doesn't anticipate fast enough what he's going to do with the ball. He seems to be looking around for the pass, which means he very often goes back. He's not quick enough to get the forward passes. But on the flip side of that, when he does have a bit of time, I have seen him make some amazing long passes, attacking passes, splitting players to do it. Even today as well.
He does have those nice long passes, he does. But the problem is that we're not getting players into spaces that, because he does those passes, but no one's there. And no one can anticipate when he's going to do that kind of pass. Mm-hmm. And he's not prepared. He's not creating the kind of predictability or repetition for the other players to be able to take that pass. And so he ends up doing passes that end up going into the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Interesting comment here again from Matt, and a follow-up, which is why I'm bringing it up. Matt checked, and we are 12th in the pass completion percentage for the season. Not terrible, not great. But it's the follow-up here I think is really interesting. For reference, all 3 relegation teams are in the top 6 in passing for this season. That's hilarious. This is why I always say you can prove anything with stats, because those stats are ridiculous. That you're in the top 6 for passing and you're in the bottom 3.
The thing is that a lot of those passes tend to be like backwards and sideways passes though as well.
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
All right,
more.
Gentlemen,
Sorry.
I have to run.
Okay.
But I came in to say what I need to say. Ollie freaking Rathbone!
No problem. That's a lot.
Hamster style, baby.
Take care.
All right, bye, guys.
Hey, buddy.
in a bit.
Right, guys, that easily opens it up. I have thrown out the link a couple of times. I'm going to do it again. Who else are we going to have in tonight? I would like to have a few more people to have a good discussion on this. There's lots to talk about tonight. So, link to show. Oh, okay. So, what else do you want to pick out? Any particular ideas?
There wasn't much of a. It was kind of a meh kind of game. It was. I wasn't too.
It was very up and
Sure.
down, wasn't it? The momentum swings and bad mistakes and stuff. Like,
We did feel. You could tell the fatigue is really kicking in now as well into the players. You can see it come on. With the exception of players like Rath, or not Rath, I was going to say, but what's his name? O'Brien. He comes on, but then again, he doesn't ever run out of energy of any kind. So
yeah,
but you can see it. Everyone's starting to get tired. Everyone's starting to get exhausted, and they're fatigued. And you can see they're starting to get those knocks coming in. But it is. I keep saying that it is the perennial issue of we lack the depth and we lack the. And we need to rotate more. Whatever is going to be coming through on January, we need some players. I think we're going to need a bit more than just a couple of wing backs because our midfield is starting to get a bit knocked around as well.
yeah.
Sheaf can't play. Sheaf can't play a full game because that would screw him over.
Chief is getting actually. I don't like that fact he's not playing near full 90 and look like he can. That surprised me.
I think Park is trying to manage the minutes to just try and avoid any kind of like major injuries. But I mean, there could be a moment. It could be at least one match where you could just use him for a full-on 90-minute match. But then you have to switch him out to Matty James or maybe to Dobson because that does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you end up having James having to play the full 90. But we're starting to see. I mean, James had a slightly swollen knee before playing the match. Our midfield is starting to get.
That's odd for me. Like surely if your knee is like that, why is Sheaf not starting? Maybe he can't. Like this is the thing. Maybe he's wrecked after the last match. I don't know. But it's not great that you're putting that pressure on James.
This is the problem with the lack of depth. We are not capable of using our players to be able to deploy them in such a way, and we're not rotating enough with our depth because we lack that. I mean, we've got too many centre forwards. We do.
Yeah.
But when we do,
how many of our centre forwards are really good attacking, strong on the ball, though? That's the problem. I'm not happy with the mix that we have.
That's only if we use them.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hardy almost could have given us that hero goal at the end, but it didn't seem to be. But we got to use this guy. We have to start using this guy. And you can tell at the end when we just went and just do everything out. We can. This game shows that we can press. We can press. We can be aggressive. We can push the game forward. We don't have to sit back and cower in any way, and we can put that pressure on the other team. But as soon as we went up that first goal, we had this weird kind of moment of like, okay, we're 1-0 up. Oh no, we're starting to fall back into the shelling up. We're sitting deeper again. And it doesn't help that Watford were fired up to try and get the goal. They have a far better passing game. It doesn't help. It's the passing game as well.
Yeah.
They can pass straight through us. They can.
Quick passing teams are really hurt us. They really do. Fast, quick passing teams. gives us a world of trouble.
We're good with long passes, we are, if we can do them. Let's say we do long ball passes. We can do them better than any other team. Well, depending on how we use them, we're far better than them because we can get them into dangerous areas. But the thing is, we can't use them all the time because then we become very predictable. It's when you're able to switch up to long passes, short passes, and long ball passes, and we're not doing enough of each because we're not playing that particular type of game.
Yeah, it's true. We're still building into that game, and
yeah, but there's just so many that have got to go. So many have got to go at this point now. It has gotten to the point where it's become obvious for us to progress further up. Not this season, but maybe later on.
Yeah,
later on in the season, or maybe for next season as well. It's become so evident at this point that one, we need to rotate more, and we need to have proper backups as well for that. So we need the depth for this, and we need quality players that can pass. And I mean, really pass, not just do that. I mean, like link up the play, being able to pass the game around. You need to have that. You do need proper tiki-taka style play, and be able to hold possession of the game and carry the ball forward as well. You need ball carriers and you need tiki-taka for that. But we're not doing that. We've got it here. We pass it to Windass through a long ball, or we got this one pass going over here. And then sometimes you'll have this long pass that we're trying to do, and then it just goes out in the middle of nowhere, and you have to hope until someone runs into it. We try and do overlapping plays, but we're not doing it in such a way where we can pass the ball to someone else, or we have someone who is so technical in terms of their dribbling, where they're able to just like mess with you in such a way. Like we don't have Jack Grealish maybe I shouldn't say Jack Grealish in front of you, but or Jeremy Doku. We don't have those kind of players. We just have we have someone who's not there just yet.
Right, I agree. We do need to change players and stuff like that. But this is an interesting point because it brings up something I was discussing with Aaron while we were watching the match. And if you look at our team, it really depends on what sort of results you're happy with at the end of the season. Because our team is perfectly capable of a comfortable mid-table finish. Because we know we're working without our wing-backs at the moment. It's if you change that metric and move the goalpost to going for playoffs. This is season 1 in the championship. And if we had our full players, if we had our wing backs that we brought in, who we all saw they were playing well, we would have a comfortable shot of getting up there, which will make the rest of our team look better. And that's the problem right now, is we're playing with a significant amount of the team that we all know are second hand, that's the wrong way to say it, sorry. Second string team. And it's too many. We're playing with too many.
But the problem is that does that not expose the midfield press and shows the kind of weakness that we have in the midfield as well? Because our wing backs are so essential for our attack.
Yeah.
Our midfield tends to kind of have that kind of weakness because they rely on this instead of having our midfield be able to be dangerous as well. Because we do need a dangerous midfield.
Yeah, but you can't have it all in one half season.
Oh, I know.
That's the point. I'm just trying to bring that back into the conversation and not get too down on where we are. And I understand absolutely.
I'm not.
It's just you were kind of saying, we need to swap all these players. They're not good enough. Yeah, depends on the light you shine on them. And that's the thing. So, yeah, it's not great. We're missing some chances. We're missing matches. We're losing points. But we are kind of in survival mode at the moment. That's true.
More or less. Yeah, I mean, we're still able to hold our own with what we've got, but our wing backs were kind of masking the weaknesses that we have in the midfield, because we should be able to be dangerous with our passing and pressing through the midfield as well, but it is starting to become a bit of a prevalent issue that we don't have that kind of danger in the midfield.
True, but the other way to look at that, just to play devil's advocate there, is without our wing backs, we're putting too much pressure on the midfield. They're not able to do it on their own, which is also true.
That's because it becomes some strange loop. It does is that if we don't have our wing backs, our midfield has to put up all the pressure, but that also exposes the kind of weakness that we have in our midfield, because our midfield isn't actually as strong as it needs to be. So we have to rely on our wing backs to do that. But because we don't have our wing backs, we have to rely on our midfield. But because we don't have a strong midfield, we have to go back on our wing backs. But our wing backs are not there, so it's just a massive circle.
Okay, but then the other way around becomes true, is once the wing backs are there and playing well, then our midfield is under less pressure so that they can do better right now, but we know they will need to be upgraded later.
Oh, of course.
It's not fair to demand that they were upgraded right now. I'm not saying you are, but just in general, just in general, that's where the loops come in. And we know our wing backs are critical to the way Parky likes to play, and we just don't have them now. We upgraded them, we brought them in, we did our best. The players look good, but they're not available, and it is what's screwing us, kind of. And here's a question from the chat again that I'm going to bring up now, which is completely relevant to this. If I can find it, here we go. So, do we really believe we can get out of this league with Parky style of play?
Yeah, we can.
Yes. Go ahead.
You can use any style you can to get out of it. You can have, here's the thing, you can literally win a league by just playing absolute low block counter-attacking football. You absolutely can, and it has been done before. You can get out of leagues by doing this. People have done that loads of times. Like Chelsea won an entire Premier League by just doing exactly that. Low block, counter-attacking. Diego Simeone's Atletico, our sister team in Spain, that's all they do. Like this is not, that's a style that's extremely negative, that is. But we can play a 3-4-2-1, we can play a 4-4-2, any style can work. Any way that you can play that allows you to play in any particular type of pattern can get you out and win this kind of thing. Look at Burnley. They got out of this league by playing extremely negative football. You can even win a league with that. But it can, but if you want to have a much more, the more aggressive styles tend to be far more potent and allow you to.
Sorry, that's me.
I keep still thinking that's Final Fantasy for some reason.
I need to remember to switch that off.
But at least it's not the smoke alarm.
Yep.
but the reason why aggressive football, much more high pressing football, where you'd have higher possession or higher movement than anything else, is looked upon as much more, is because they take far more bigger risks and they're far more likely to score goals, as opposed to something more negative football, which is hold everything, take the battering, and then go for it, and then try and hold again. And if you can find that opportunity again somehow, if you do manage to find the opportunity, score again, and make it as difficult as possible for the opposition to try and score against you. But that ends up becoming a problem in itself. You don't want to be doing that forever, because it does neuter you in particular ways. But you can absolutely win things by doing that.
Yeah. And to follow up on Parky's style, we know our wing backs are like one of the major things that are needed for Parky's style, right?
Do you know who's the most similar to that style? Who uses that in the Premier League right now? Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace.
Okay.
They use a very similar style. They've won trophies as of recently, but they have a bit more quality and other stuff. So.
Yeah. So Parky tried to upgrade his wing backs, and for me, it looks like he's also trying to play with some other styles, not traditionally hoofball as people would attack him for. And he's trying to shore up the midfield, maybe use a box and a few other things. But it'll take time. And for me personally, yes, I do believe Parky can do it. Will he do it? I can understand why some people will argue he won't. and there is discussions to be had on that. But given certainly a couple of seasons, yes, we will upgrade all the positions. I do see some editing on styles with Parky, and I do think our crossing in from the wing, which with the best wing backs, will open up the midfield and allow that midfield attack we want. So yeah, I think we can absolutely get up there with Parky leading the team in this style with a few edits over time. Okay, lots of chat. I'll jump back into that in a minute, but there was another question here I wanted to bring up from Madal. Here, their player got injured and got to continue play without coming off the pitch. Longman had to stay on the sidelines. What's that about? So I was listening to the commentary on this, and their player got to stay on the pitch because the player that hit him got a booking, so a yellow card. So he is allowed to stay on. He doesn't have to do the 30 seconds. However, why Longman had to go off, I'm not sure. Now, both players were sent off the sidelines, one of ours and one of theirs. However, the player that that hit Longman got the card for hitting Longman. So yes, I don't understand that. I wonder, was it kind of a simple mistake because the other player was also injured, and I'm not quite sure how that worked. To me, it seems wrong. Because there was people calling for their player having to do the 30 seconds, but it was explained on the commentary that no, it is the correct result that their player got to stay on. However, I do believe in this scenario, Longman should have been allowed to stay on as well. So that's my take on that one. Okay. Some comments here.
Also, another day, another excellent McLean performance as well.
Okay, do you want to talk about McLean?
Do we have to?
Okay, let's talk about the wing backs in general then. Okay, Longman got to start this time. Pretty obvious it was going to be starting for Barney instead of Maka.
I mean, Longman really started to perform really good when McLean came off as well. Well, no, there were moments where Longman was just on the right, still just crossing those balls in, just constantly crossing them in as well on the right. But as soon as he went on the left, he was able to press harder as well. And they were giving him opportunities in ways that McLean couldn't do, because then we were able to unlock the left.
But Barney can't seem to unlock the right either.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue, isn't it? We are really just hamstrung, aren't we? We're literally playing with one hand tied behind our back.
Yeah. Okay, guys, chat, play nice. Okay, I'm watching you. One warning, play nicely. Okay, sorry, that just took my attention for a second. So what were you saying?
We're kind of playing with like one hand tied behind our back. We are,
yeah,
because we just don't have that quality on the wings to just be able to just be that constant threat, and it is becoming too much now. You can see it in McLean. He gets into dangerous areas. He's able to do certain things, but he can't be that threat. Everyone knows you can just run past him, or you can just outpass him.
Yeah. Now this does lead into something that was said earlier in the comments, and I don't think I brought it up actually, which was about they are very comfortable to overload one side of the pitch, and I think that's clear. They have very little worry about monitoring both sides of the pitch. They just go for whoever the ball is, and whichever side that is, if it's Maka on one side or if it's Barney or Longman on the other, they'll just go full overload, block all the channels, and risk a quick switch to their side. And if we do manage to get that switch, then they feel like they have enough time to get back and cover. And I think that was really, really clear. And it's a flow on from when we had Kakachi and Kabore. They had to mark both sides. They could not leave no one watching. and then it just freed up everything, midfield and both sides. And it's what we have to live with at the moment, unfortunately.
The thing is that when we have Cae and Kabore, the difference is they're not the same in any way. They're both fast. They're way faster than most of the players that we would have. They're very fast. But the difference is that Kabore is brave and he's faster than Cae, and Cae is fast, but he's physical. He'll push your player out of the way and get the ball up front. He's much more physical and direct, as opposed to Cae is also direct, but he's just so fast he'll just jump around you. And and it just becomes a bit. It just drags in how the way we play. And I know what I was saying earlier about our midfield having to overcompensate for the fact that we don't have our wing backs to be able to just take that pressure off. But we just don't have that. We have to find out a way to just push our midfield. We have to overcompensate and make our midfield much stronger because we don't have that. We just don't have that threat. We just don't have that threat. They know it. Everyone knows how to just shut us down with our main attack. So Parky's going to have to just switch things up and make it so that we attack. We may need to just do what we just did right near the end sometimes and do that at the beginning. Just be just a constant threat, press until they can't handle it anymore.
Yeah. So Longman on the right did okay, but nothing amazing. I just want to ask about Maka on the left. Do you think Maka played as well as Maka can, or did he have a poor game?
He can't go any higher.
But did he play to his ability? We know he's not amazing, like at this level. It's so be it.
He can only play as far as he can right now.
But he didn't have a bad game for him.
He didn't have a bad game for him, but it would be a bad game for us.
Yeah, well, you have to live with what you have. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. Look, he absolutely does his best, but we think his best just isn't really there now. Not much.
He's not at that same level anymore. Like, I mean, he's what, 37, 38 now, and he just doesn't have the pace that he would have had when he was maybe like 5 years younger.
Yeah. Yep.
Unless we start cheating somehow.
Yep. Okay, guys, it's going to be an early one tonight. I need some more topics because tonight's match wasn't amazing, but it just kind of, we're going over old ground again and again and again, and it's fair. It's the situation we're in.
The reason why we keep going over this is because that's the glaring issue. It is just that glaring issue that we have. We can't unlock the game that we want to play if we don't have the kind of players. I mean, we could go around to. We could try a different topic.
Okay, here we go. Got it. Kim. Max. What did we think of Max's play tonight? Because I think he had a poor game compared to his usual standards. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, he was kind of just meh. He didn't really have the usual play that he would usually have, that you would see, where he brings in, acts like an inverted fullback. He does that and joins in with the attack, but it just didn't feel threatening in any way. And he did feel a bit slow as well. I think it's just because he's being overplayed now at this point.
Okay, so I'm just having a look here at FOTMob stats to see what they said. And excluding Okonkwo, who they've given a horrible 5.6 to, Kluivert got a 6.4, which is the lowest of the team. Selvik also got a crappy 5.9, so both keepers took it on the chin for 2 goals. I don't think Okonkwo had a terrible game that deserved the 5.6, but let's leave Okonkwo out for the moment. So Kluivert 6.4.
Yeah, it's fair enough. But actually, what's interesting about Okonkwo is that he's coming out of the box now. He's he's part of the build-up of the game now. He's starting to become more and more part of the build-up of the game.
Yeah.
I noticed in this match. He's becoming the back line is passing the ball to him more often now. He's becoming more and more part of the build-up. If the ball goes into our area, he's going to be there to try and get the ball back in. So instead of just going to the area, Conco picks it up and then just goes and shoots it. He's actually starting to become a bit more active in that back line and being a bit more part of the game.
Yeah, Max for me got caught completely out of position on a few occasions. I don't know if the linking between himself and Longman isn't working very well or what it was, but he's been caught out of position, and between the two of them, Longman switched at one point to cover the man out on the wing, expecting that the defense would then pick him up, the player he left, and they didn't at all. And there was a bit of arguing between them as to why he wasn't covered. Matt pulled up a stat here for us. 2 out of 6 on ground duels is the stat that stands out. Yeah, that was poor today.
Yeah, I did say that.
That's a really poor stat for him today.
Yeah.
Turbo Fat here is saying Max aimless clears are becoming a problem. He gets any press at all and he just punts it right back to them. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that, but I have constantly kind of defended Max a little bit on this, that he's getting better. Now today he had a kind of a poor game, that's fine. But just something interesting to see going forward. We all know Josh has been coming at Max pretty hard lately. Hashtag save Max. But I don't think we've an obvious swap for him. We're kind of doing experimental things if we take Max off.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when we have Kabore on, he does overlapping runs with him as well. The passing game between him and Kabore and the midfield is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And when Kabore is there, when Max is there, he's able to do the overlapping runs. He goes and crowds the opposition's box so easy. We become such a threat in the other end with our press. But we can't do that with Longman or Barney. So because they neither have the pace nor do they have the kind of skill level that Kabore would have. And the thing is that Max is kind of given free rein to be able to just push the game forward. He kind of acts like a wing back. He kind of acts like a midfielder.
Yeah, I think all that is fair, absolutely. So definitely something to watch with Max moving forward, and who he links up with. Maybe he works better, not with Longman, but with, why am I forgetting his name, Barney, on that right. But he definitely seemed to have something good going with Kabore there for a while before Kabore went down.
Yeah, but also I would say it's because he's tired.
Yeah, potentially.
Because he has not missed a single match. He has played in every single match. He has.
Yeah, I do. Okay, here's an interesting point that I'm going to throw out there. Right, I do sometimes think that Max does too much in attack. He's getting too involved up the top of the pitch. So, considering now that Scar has been taken out and Hyam moves across, do we think that with both of those players being available to move forward, does he need to chill out a little bit on potential attacks? Because we now have both sides who can move forward. Because Doyle made some runs today, but what I noticed with Doyle is he tended to favor getting up in the midfield and then passing the ball off and then kind of moving back into his defensive position. Max gets often very high, and he had a reasonable opportunity. He took a strike on and leaded it over the bar. Now he was in a position he probably should have taken that shot, so taking the shot itself is not terrible, but he wasn't good with the actual shot that happened. Now that we kind of have both sides being able to attack up with Doyle and Clewitt, does Clewitt need to relax a little bit?
Yes and no. Actually, I would say yeah, he should, because he's starting to. I think he should, in aspects of being. He's going to wear himself out. He's starting to. He's going to fatigue himself out at this point, and he's going to be. He's going to end up. He's going to get injured at some point. He is, but with the way he plays.
Yeah. Okay, last thing here, and this is where Josh comes in with a little bit of experimentation, maybe. Food Bunker is asking, Hyam can play Max's role, correct? So, yes, Hyam can play out on the left, but he's a right-footed player. So, in theory, if you moved him out to Max's role, he's on his strong side, on his strong foot. So, yes, you would probably be putting Hyam out there into Max's role and then putting Scar back in the middle. And maybe now that could be an option, considering if Doyle gets to keep his spot on the left consistently, and he seems to be playing within the team better and offering some attack on that side, maybe it's something that'll be considered. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not ready to say it should be done, but yeah, he didn't have a great game today, and I'm sure Josh will be happy hearing people talk about this.
I mean, everyone's going to say the Doyle, Scar, and Hyam kind of setup, but the thing is, does Hyam offer the same kind of attacking threat that Max would have?
No,
that's the thing.
He'll be much more solid behind.
That's the thing.
That's partially the question. But then, do you rely on Doyle a bit more? You know, because he seems to have got that flexibility to move forward, but he doesn't go too far forward. He kind of knows his role. Maybe he sits back a little bit. We have attacking players. Attacking players are supposed to attack. So I think it looks like from his position that his job is to get it to the attackers. So interesting one, I think, for the future.
There's so different roles though for that. Do you know what it is? It's because we lack Lewis Brunt, in a sense.
Well, it is for a while. This is why we've had to play around with it in general. And I suppose while we're on it here now, January is coming, and Max's role is the only position that we didn't get a kind of direct like-for-like swap, that he doesn't have any natural swap for that position. So is there potential there that we actually bring in another centre-back but plays the right-hand side?
We could.
We need that. We cover in certain positions. And now that Brunty went down and is leaving us a little bit short, kind of shows we also need someone on the right side.
Yeah, but do you know what? Because Lewis has gone down, I think that may be the reason why we're kind of overcompensating for Max as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, because the only other option would have to, I mean, either Scar or Hyam will go into the centre. And if we could, but we would need someone that can but we would need those two kind of centre backs that can join in with the attack or be able to build the attack. But we don't have that. I mean, when you look at the way Lewis Brunt was part of the attack, he is a pacey centre back. He is. Like the way he gets the ball, he carries the ball, he moves the ball forward fast.
Yeah.
And we're kind of missing that. We're missing that kind of pace that we would have from the centre backs. On the left, specifically.
So Lee here, I'm going to give the last word. Keep Scar in the middle of our defence. Now, I will say in the midweek match, Hyam had a poor match on the left-hand side. He was just outpaced and couldn't keep up. So
yeah.
Look, not everything's perfect, but that's the way it is. Now, I just realised that at the start, I said we were going to talk about O'Brien. And we didn't. Not yet. So, in the chats, people, let's talk about O'Brien. What's your opinion? Because I'll tell you this much. At the end of the match, after that very last shot where he skied it over the bar again, I said, God damn it, I want Rathbone out over O'Brien. O'Brien can sit his ass down. And I agree why he should be there. I know all his positives. His positives are very clear to see. His attacking threat, his ability to get in behind players. It just opens it up for a lot of other people as well. But damn it, he can't finish. He's too far on the pitch. He needs to play further back. And I would like to see him potentially cover Dabo as well.
If we could up our passing game, he would become a bit more dangerous in that aspect as well.
Yes.
So he could, if he's not able to get those kind of goals in there, pass to someone who can.
Yeah. Okay, some comments I put up there, I kept earlier. O'Brien is using poor technique when shooting. Watch the Windass first goal. Perfect technique with knee up and toe down. He leans back a lot and skies him. Yeah. But for me, O'Brien just doesn't look confident. There are situations where if it was Windass, you know he would be shooting. And O'Brien takes an extra touch. Like the one where he decided to take that extra touch and pushed it way too far away from him. And he couldn't catch the ball before it ultimately ended up going across the line, the back byline. I'm trying not to say too much, people, so you guys need to say it for me. And here's another comment I kept from earlier. Lewis O'Brien is one of, if not, our best midfielder. He struggles to finish, but it's Parky's fault for using him so far forward. I do agree with that. I want to see him play further back first before I really kind of come out against him as being part of the team, let's say. But that's down the road.
It's going to take some time, I'd say. It's going to take some time.
Yeah. Matt White, Lewis O'Brien needs to be a build-up player, just doesn't have it as a finisher. Well, that's what he's supposed to be, really, in fairness. But if you get into that position, as a midfielder, you would want to be able to take a strike. So after all we've said now for the last hour, everybody's calmed down about O'Brien. And the comments aren't flying in anymore. And I mean, there's not down a bit too.
I'm not angry about it. About him.
I'm annoyed. I really am. He's been sitting and waiting for him, and he's gotten into all these positions and wasted chance after chance again.
Sure, but we asked for this, and we do need that threat. We need that constant threat. We need to make sure we have to let the opposition know that you can't screw with us like that. We're gonna punch you in the face. Yeah, not literally, figuratively.
Okay, Kim. A reminder that Lewis O'Brien's best goal season ever is 4. That's hilarious. And very helpful as well. Thank you, Kim. It really is. Yeah. It's just horrible when you get someone so close and they mess up like that. And you know what? I used to say it about Dobson. It was like Dobson just can't score. When he's up there in dangerous positions, he can't score. Everybody knows it. And people stopped giving him a hard time for it because he doesn't score. He's defensive. But I think that's actually the problem, is we're using Lewis O'Brien for his attacking abilities. We're not using him for his defensive abilities. So I'm expecting him to be able to finish his attacks.
That could be the case. But then we could probably have a mixture of having O'Brien and Rathbone. A guy who can finish and a guy who can't. There's some kind of weird...
But you didn't want Rathbone up the front, so are you saying Rathbone in defence as well? In the defensive?
We could put O'Brien in the defensive mid and put
I can see O'Brien in the defensive mid role and just told calm down. make your attacking runs when you get the chance, but you're in defense and you're laying off the ball. That's what you do. Get your opportunity and go. The other defensive mid will stay back. That's their role, is full defense. Yours is make passes, break up plays, get up the midfield, move things forward, but get that ball passed off because you can't finish.
Yeah, we it's so hard to know. We're still kind of in a weird experimental phase now. Now that we've got Rathbone back in, what do we do next? We've basically got this additional player that we weren't expecting to just come back. We thought maybe January time was going to be something, but now he's just back. He may just have these he may just be a late sub at some point, returning back to us where we need him for his energy to do some kind of danger. But I don't even know how are we going to use him.
Yeah, but I suppose that's like I keep talking about using the box midfield, having 2 defensive, 2 attacking. What about the more flat mid tree? What would you do there? Would you then put in O'Brien, Rathbone, and one of the fully defensive mids, like a Sheaf, obviously? Would that work? More flat and then more attacking when we get the opportunity.
But that has a problem of us going a bit too negative, though. Because I think we tried something similar to this. I think it was against Middlesbrough. But we did something similar to that, and we started to become very negative that much of the game. And we were just basically just trying to stop every shot that was coming in.
Yeah.
It's just our finishing that's the biggest issue. Our finishing and our pressing and our ball position and our passing and our wing backs.
Yeah.
Just keeps going on and on and on. It does. It's like it's everything starts and ends with our wing backs. It does. It always starts and ends with it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to keep it on O'Brien here because I'm about to finish up. Now, Mr. Make Me, I don't think I agree with this, but I'm going to discuss it and see if I change my mind. Sounds like you are trying to find a place for Lewis O'Brien to work by forcing other players out of position. Simply put, he isn't good enough and Wrexham are worse when he plays. So first of all, let's take the end of that. Wrexham are worse when he plays. Agree or disagree?
Absolutely disagree.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that too, because I think he causes enough chaos around him to actually make our overall play better, even though he gets on the end of things and can't finish them himself. So that's one thing there. But the rest of it, yes, we are kind of trying to force him in a little bit. And we've been, like I said, we've been kind of discussing the box midfield with 2 up front and 2 behind. I think ultimately everybody is considering having Windass and Broadhead at the front of that box if we can shore up everywhere else in the future. But I think maybe you're forgetting, maybe you're not. Put another comment in if you want. Is O'Brien is more naturally further back. We're actually playing O'Brien out of position by pushing him so far forward. So are we trying to force him back in, or are we just looking to use him in his more natural position, which would also allow him to cause a bit of chaos when he gets on the ball and move forward, but gives him more runway before he ends up having to take the shot himself? Okay, Brian Burton wants to come in. So, Brian, let's drop the link back in for you. The link is in the chat 7 times, but no problem. There you go. Come join us. So what do you think about the first part there? Are we trying to force him in, or are we just considering his natural positions? What's fair?
I think we're not trying to force players out. We're just trying to figure things out and how we can use them the most effectively. We could use them at the back. We could. But then because he's such a chaotic force up front, we kind of need him up front. He's such a threat when we are going forward.
Okay. Mr. Make Me has responded. I would argue that you saying he is involved in attacks which compensates for his shortcomings is naive, as he only creates those chances when out of position. He then puts pressure on the midfield. Again, I don't agree with this either, because I don't think he's out of position for where he's been played. Like that's his role. That's where he's been played. It's not his natural position. Now, in theory, your midfielders should be able to play more attacking or more defensive as a general rule, unless you're really heavily defensive mid or attacking mid. You know,
he's a natural box to box or DM. He is.
Yeah. And in fairness, what we're saying is using him in his natural position, but we haven't seen him do it for us. So we don't know whether he's going to look good or not in that position when he does it. Are all his shortcomings going to fall away because he's in a better position of the pitch? If you move anybody outside their natural position, it can cause them to have problems.
I mean, different players. I mean, when we look at certain players, we use them in very different ways to the way we would have used them. I mean, a player like O'Brien. I mean, here's the thing, right? We've converted Longman into a wing back. He was never a wing back. He was a wing. Yeah. He was a winger. So using O'Brien in such a way he might just be a bit more uncomfortable with that kind of thing, but he knows that he is such a threat. Parky knows he's a threat with that space he has in between, in the other end of the box. And he's able to just cause that much chaos in between there, getting into space, moving around with such speed. Yeah. But we need him there. That's the thing. And the only thing I think he would need to improve on is just linking up passes and pass it to more dangerous people to get those goals in. Because he can do that. Absolutely do that. If he can get that right with Windass, which I think he did, actually.
Yeah.
Was that him who passed the ball to Windass when he got the goal? Was it more?
I don't know, actually. Not sure. But from the comments in chat, I think they're on O'Brien's side. So I think they're leaning more to agreeing with what we're saying about O'Brien.
We need him to be that kind of absolute threat.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree on that. And God damn it, I wanted to be so hard on O'Brien today. I really did. Okay, Brian Burton is here. So let's say hi. Hello.
Hello. It took me a long time to get in. Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. I can certainly give you some time. No problem. So did you jump on for the O'Brien questions?
Well, I heard you talking about that before I lost the feed.
Okay. So have your say on O'Brien there. Have a little go at it.
I think he's somebody else already may have said this, but I think he's really inside his head right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he had that down at the cop end, he had that ball in the box and he forced it instead of laying it off to Windass, who was wide open right there. And I think he wants to score a goal to silence the critics and the fans. And so he's completely in his head at this point instead of just playing the way he knows how he can play. He can definitely be a big contributor for us if he just does what he does well and thinks less about trying to score. That's my opinion. In terms of getting to loose balls and having, quickness in the midfield, I think we still need to be playing him versus some of the other options.
Yeah, I agree. And I am trying to find a better position for him because he does cause chaos, and I like it.
So have we ever tried him at the Chief James role
No.
as the purely defensive midfielder? See, I don't know. I'd like to see maybe a O'Brien, Rathbone, Windass with O'Brien as the defensive midfielder and see what that might look like.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're all kind of thinking he has potentially the ability. He certainly played more defensively for other teams because I just had a look at on FotMob. They're putting him down as defensive mid, central mid, and attacking mid as his primary. But that's because that's where we've been using him. Other teams have not been using him that far up, and there's not an attacking midfielder in the world that has as few goals as O'Brien does. That's just no. I'm sorry. He is more defensive for other teams.
Yeah, he gets himself into offensive positions.
He does, absolutely. Well.
Yeah. Since you're on FotMob, have you gone through our roster to see if any of our midfielders are listed as wingbacks as a secondary or tertiary position?
Okay, who is
I was meaning to do that during the game today. I was like, I should.
Okay, who do you want me to check?
Well, some people were saying, I'm sorry, our midfielder from Bolton, checking to see if he could play. Thomason, yeah, to see if he could play wingback. Some people were even saying Rathbone, just because we were getting so desperate. But I know they, yeah, since you mentioned that they do list the second and third position for some players.
Why can't they? There's Thomason. No, Thomason is listed as centre mid, defensive mid, attacking mid. And actually, I can see all of these. So wing back, James McLean, Ryan Longman, Kakache, of course. Left wing is Nathan Broadhead, but not wing back, of course. And we do convert.
Right.
We do convert our wingers. So that
I wonder if you're in a late game position, because once we've thrown everything forward, what would be the difference in just moving Broadhead to wing and pulling out a McLean? Because once we make that switch, it's pretty obvious we're no longer defending. I mean, we took Hyam out. I don't know exactly what formation we went into at that point.
But that is essentially what you're kind of doing, because in that scenario, we're kind of a 3-1 up front with wingers, central, and more attack as well. Yeah, because we were kind of in a 4-2-4, they were saying. So now it depends how you lay out that front forward. Often it would be a 3-1. So you'd have left wing, right wing, and then the two centers in those formations. So that's essentially what happened.
That would be good, especially in a game like today where Windass started and Broadhead was on the bench. That would have been surprising for me to see Parky do something like take Mac off and put Broadhead in.
Yeah.
We could try something a little crazy. We could.
You're about to say it, aren't you? Go on.
No, it's completely different. Put McLean as the number 9.
Oh God. That's not what I was going to say. No.
What were you going to say?
No, what I was going to say, which will never happen, is to go 4-2-4.
4-2-4. Ooh. That might work, actually.
Well, I played a bit different. So
then you can put Scar back in.
You can put Scar back in. You push Max out, playing heavy defense, the 4 of them. And we know Max and not Cody. Why the hell am I mixing up my names now? Doyle. So that would allow Max and Doyle to move forward when attacking. You have 2 midfielders, and then you go with your 4 up front. So you have more Windass. Instead of McLean, you have Broadhead. And then what do you do on the right-hand side, I suppose? Maybe keep Longman in a more attacking role. But Longman is a winger anyway. So if you allow Longman to stay up there instead of being defensive,
that would work. That would work.
I think that would be excellent because of our wingback situation. I think that would be excellent.
It might be helpful with the wingback situation, yeah.
Or we could go with my McLean as the number 9 idea. It's a joke.
Could Macca move into the Matty James role?
No.
But Matty James doesn't cover much ground, and Macca can't cover any ground.
McLean has played as midfield before, in that particular position, and he is not very good. He's not very creative.
Okay, so in that 4-2-4, who would you put as your 2 midfield, Sheaf and James?
I'd want. Don't those 2 need to cover a lot of ground since they're the only 2 midfielders?
Sheaf and O'Brien.
Sheaf and O'Brien.
That would be good.
O'Brien and Dobson.
But see, also consider, I know you have to move around a bit, but if you're going 4-2-4, you already have all your attack. So these midfielders are purely passing lanes and defensive, because you also have the 2 at the back who can attack. So they would skip ahead.
Yeah, I'd say James and O'Brien, because look at James's pass today. That's just what we need in a 4-2-4.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
The solution is having 10 James McLeans. That's what we need.
Okay. Was there anything else you came in to particularly talk about, Brian, other than O'Brien, or was it just the O'Brien?
I'd like to see Rathbone over Dobson, which I suspect was what the coaching staff planned for before Rathbone's injury. I think they always had Rathbone ahead of Dobson, but the injury out of necessity moved Dobson up. Now he's performed well, but it's a long season, and just like Barney last season, I think Dobson may have kind of hit a wall, or may need at least a break to reset somewhat. I don't think he's as effective as he was last month or the month before. So I wouldn't mind seeing Rathbone move into his spot.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to see Rathbone get on the pitch. After scoring that goal, after rescuing the point with barely a couple of minutes, I think he needs to be there somewhere. He needs to get a shot.
Let's not forget, Parkey was very hesitant to put Rathbone in last season. He was slow to get on, including the game at Rotherham, his old club. He didn't get on. So eventually, Parkey put him on. He ended up being player of the season. So I don't know what the story is there.
Okay. Well, guys, we are just coming up on 90 minutes. So I think that's a pretty decent run tonight. Actually, thought we were going to go short, but 90 minutes is good. No extra time tonight. But
do you mind if I ask real quick?
Go
because I wasn't on before. The second goal, AO getting beat, goal side. Anybody give him any stick for that, or? We
didn't go into him too hard. Yeah, I'd like to see the replay a couple of times. Maybe something he should have gotten. But no, we didn't go in too hard for him tonight. Do you think it was a particularly big deal? Was it really poor for you?
I'd have to. I'd want to look at it a few more times, slow motion as well. But I think it's two games maybe he wouldn't think were his best. Unfortunately, as it stands right now, we need him to give up 1 goal or less, 1 or 0 to win. And so he has to almost be perfect.
Right, but surely that first goal is nothing to do with him.
No, I thought it was very unfortunate. I mean, it's too bad if he doesn't go down to the ground, maybe he has an opportunity
with that deflection, there's nothing you can do. Because the other problem is, like, if he didn't go down and that shot comes through, he needs a chance of getting it. And so he had to react to where the ball was going. The ball got a massive deflection. So
it's just the trajectory of the ball. It's just the trajectory of the ball.
But in that case, I'm defending AO here because what I'm essentially saying is he's only responsible for one goal, and you're saying one goal or less. So
right, sure. Yeah, we have. I can't think of too many, worldly goals that we've scored this season, but a lot are coming in against us. So I think the luck has not quite been on our side so far. We should be due some of the the blast from outside the box that find the corner, like very low percentage conversion shots, but we really haven't. I can't think of any this season, but they certainly seem to come in against us on a regular basis.
The only person who does that is Windass.
True, but he does it so well. Is it luck? But I hear what you're saying.
Okay. All right, I think that's fair now. So there was a comment earlier after I said about 4-2-4 saying that's never going to happen. I'm just having a little bit of fun, guys. And I have also found our bombshell. Are you ready for this? Let me bring it up. Boom. I'm going to bring this back up because...
What was his rating?
Well, I don't know what his rating was, actually. Sometimes you don't get them when you're only on for such short minutes. Our Mr. Oliver Rathbone, who was man of the match last season, 1 goal, 1 match played, 1 minute played. And this week, it's Kim gets on that bombshell. If Rathbone continues on this pace, he'll score 2,000 goals this season.
Hope so.
So, guys, thanks very much for today. Thanks for coming in, Brian and Habs, as usual. And we'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone.
All right,
don't miss my channel chat this week, where I discuss with John how crap his team, and he discusses with me how crap we were. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.